I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it.
Yo, yo.
Yeah, it kind of messed with me a little bit because you know, that used to be wrapped in my identity. Singing and
Yeah.
sing. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Sing for you. You used to sing for how long?
Wow. Since 97 up until like 2014, like in a arena where there were many people, like outside of my house. So it
You
was
said
church.
since 97? I thought you was gonna go back further than that.
No, I mean, I've been singing, but like I did little things here and there, like in high school, talent show and stuff like that. But until when I started getting recognition and people were like, oh, she can really sing was around 97. And then that kind of like honed my writing skills too. Yeah.
Okay.
I
And that's
remember
when you
you
really, huh?
posting videos. I remember when you used to post videos with you singing and stuff and playing the keyboard.
That's because once I realized that I wasn't a singer, it kind of messed me up a little bit.
What do you mean once you realize whose opinion were you listening to?
My own, I was just paying attention. You know, like when you listen to a singer and you be like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, they bad. They can
Yeah.
sing. They do everything effortless. Like they have that natural vibrato, that natural breath and that breathiness.
Yeah.
Like the range. They can sing low as crap. They can sing really high without straining their voice. Their tone won't change. Their cadence. They have a beautiful cadence about them. Like Luther Vandross. Luther Vandross, no one has ever matched his cadence as a man. Now,
Yeah.
people have had equally beautiful cadences, but
Yeah.
Luther's cadence is like, come on, it's
Yeah.
unmatched.
It is. And he was effortless with it. I mean, I think the one person I can say was, and I don't want people getting all, but Freddie Jackson. Like if you think about when Freddie Jackson sang,
Yes.
he had that range, he had that classic sound, and you knew. And he has some bangers too. If you think about it,
Yes.
Freddie Jackson had some
Yes.
hits.
Yes, he
And
did.
but yeah, Luther,
Nice and
man.
slow. And
Mm,
he'd bring it down and his
yeah,
like he'd take it out. Now, what was that? Crescendo.
the
He'd throw it out and then
crescendo.
it come
Yep.
back and mean
And bring it back in.
had
Mm-hmm.
that lingering
Throw in the
vibrato.
voice. Yep.
See,
Yeah.
I used to love music. I swear to goodness, I don't even listen to music all like that anymore. Do you?
I do. So one of my favorite stations on my Echo Dot is 90s R&B. And I'll do a lot of 90s R&B and 80s R&B music. And like they got the Silk groups, Shy.
Shy,
Oh, they
shy,
play a lot
shy.
of, oh yeah, Shy. It's just like
Yeah,
they don't make music like that anymore.
they really don't. They
They
really
don't.
don't. And that's why, honestly, I think that's why a great deal of relationships aren't really lasting nowadays
Right.
because people are building their relationships off of the music of today. I'm like,
Absolutely. I think it definitely carries over because the songs used to make you want to stay with your woman and you fight
yes,
through it. It was all about family and the
yes,
begging, baby, please
yes. You
don't leave me, girl.
begged.
Yeah.
You didn't give a damn. And yeah, it taught you, like, it was keep it a buck. It's still kind of encouraged cheating, but
Yeah, he was
but
begging to stay after he cheated.
he was begging to stay after he cheated. He wasn't like, I got other bees out here. I don't need
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, baby, please take me back. I won't do it again. But
Exactly. Even if he was going to do it again.
he was gonna do it again. He was just real slick with the apologies and the begging. And
Yeah.
it was wintertime outside. He had no place to go.
Yeah. No. Hey, here we come. That's what I'm talking about. He had nowhere to stay. He had nowhere
All
to
of them.
stay. It's easier
Hobo
now to
zippers.
have a place to stay because I think because of social media. And I think because of social media, there's a great deal of people out here who are just now feel free to say it's not the case, but I think it's a great deal of people out here who are just desperate.
I agree to some extent. I think there's a lot of people who are mean. Like
You
social
say
media is
mean?
mean. I think
Mean?
social
Like how?
media has created this false sense of identity with a lot of people. Like they are so mean online and it transfers over into their personal life because it's not reality. And
Yeah.
so they are keyboard warriors, like more people get into
Oh my
online
God.
arguments, right? Because of something somebody posted and they're really brave to say stuff. But doggone well, you see a person face to face, like they pull up on you. It's like, oh, it's a whole different story. but online they're mean as hell. And I think that rolls over into their personal life and they become like that in real life.
Well, honestly, it doesn't help when they pull up on you and you look like you work out. Of course, they're not gonna say nothing to you.
Yeah, like me, they pull up on me, I'm like, don't even. We're
They
not
pull
about
up on
that.
you and they see, oh, wow, you really about this life, huh? Yeah. I ain't messing with you.
Mm.
Hey, so you served
Yes,
in the
I did.
military, right?
Yes, I was 14
What
years.
which part of the military were you
What
in?
branch? Army.
Army.
Yeah, I was in the Army for 14.
Really?
Yes, I was.
Wow. What made you go to the army? No, oh, no. Not
Mm.
okay. All right. So what made you decide to serve for the United States Army?
Okay, so being that I'm from another country, right? That's the key thing right there. So I'm not American native. I'm born in Trinidad.
Trinidad. And I
So
say this, Trinidad and Jamaica pretty much same thing, right?
where that off button at? Boop. We're not gonna wait till I see you again, man. Um, the Jamaicans got dropped off first because they were just rowdy.
Oh yeah, they real rowdy.
Yeah, and then they came on that path. They dropped them off, like, get them off. Ooh, don't want to offend folks. We was already here. But anyway, um, I going to school in Brooklyn, New York, right? It was the 90s, height of the crack epidemic
Uh-huh.
and gang violence and fighting and stuff like that. And I was going to one of the worst schools in New York at the time. And I won't call the
Wow.
name. Just know that we had to get scanned in a metal detector walking in. We used to get patted down to go in school. And
Good old days, huh?
those days,
Yeah.
special ed hit song was out. I Got It Made was out.
Oh, especially it was so
Yeah.
cool back in the day
Yeah.
too.
He thought he was until he got beat up. But anyway, I digressed.
That was colorism. They used to always want to
I
beat
know,
up the
right?
pretty boy, light
He
skinned
wasn't that
dudes.
light. Because he had nice hair. That's what it was.
Yeah, he did have good hair. He had the
Yeah, he
good
like,
hair.
you think you're cute because you got nice hair.
He
But
had good hair.
I saw one too many of my friends get killed. And I think the straw that broke the camel's back, one of my friends got shot right on the edge of my block in a cross street. And I had to walk past him to go home. The cops had just roped off the block, but they didn't cover his body. And I just
Whoa.
remember walking past and seeing him with his eyes open. Yeah. But I still remember it because it was like, you remember the polo shirts that had the white collar?
Yes.
And it was a blue and yellow striped shirt. He had on baggy jeans. He was just laying there. And
Wow.
I think I told my mom that night, I said, I feel like if I stay here much longer, I'm gonna die in New York. And she said, what are you talking about? I said, I just can't stay here anymore. And luckily, you know how they have the recruiting and stuff in high school when you're graduating?
Mm-hmm.
So they had all the recruiters come, and then they had the colleges come, they had all that
Right.
fair. So I was like,
Right.
you know what? I'm gonna sign up for the army because my dad was already in the army. So
Wow.
I
So
figured,
your dad served and his daughter served. Wow. Okay.
yeah, I think he planted subliminal seeds because he took me to see that movie Platoon when I was 15. Like, who
Really?
takes a child at 15 to go see Platoon? Have you ever seen that movie?
I might have. I don't remember it. But then
Willem
again,
Dafoe and Charlie Sheen starred in it.
here's the thing. Charlie Sheen, shout out to Charlie Sheen. I do remember his face a lot, especially was it two and a half men? I used to watch that a lot.
No,
And
yeah, this is way before then.
yeah,
Yeah,
but Charlie Sheen, Platoon.
yeah.
I do not remember it, but I don't remember a lot of things. I don't know what happened to me growing up. I don't remember a lot of things. I'm very
You repress a
picky on
lot
the
of
things I
stuff.
remember. Huh?
You repressed a lot of stuff from your teenage years, or no?
I think I did. I think I did. I mean, but it's for the same, like, you found another way to deal with yours.
Yeah.
Like, you can still tell me exactly what your friend looked like while laying on the ground with his eyes open.
Mm-hmm.
His breath already left his body. He's no
Yep.
longer there. Like,
Nope.
his body is there, but he's no longer there.
Yeah.
That right there is so. I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you finish, but because I wanna like jump more into that
Mm-hmm.
because I think that far too many of us, and when I say too many of us, I don't know how many white people have dealt with this,
Yeah.
but my audience, just in case you haven't seen it already.
A lot of
A great deal of my audience are white.
a lot of others.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi, others.
But here's the thing, though. I'm learning. This is what I'm learning. That although they grew up in their own trenches,
Yeah.
they can relate to us in many ways. Like they'll be like, "Yeah, same thing happened to me. One of my friends got shot," and it's like, but what's not shared on our side? If it's not shared on our side of white kids getting shot by other white
Yeah.
kids and stuff like that,
Yeah.
then we're not going to hear about it.
No.
So it's this part of you. Like I knew about you growing up in New York. I knew about you being from Jamaica. I'm sorry, Trinidad.
Lord have mercy, bless this man.
She about to cuss me out. No, I know you've been been from Trinidad, but I did not know that you went to school in the hood. I did not know that a lot of your friends were dying at really young ages from violence.
Yeah.
And because you know how I tell my kids all the time, stop caring too much about what people think about you, because
Absolutely.
you're going to find your people regardless.
Yeah.
And
They'll
you and
find
I
you too.
clicked
Yeah.
a while ago. And because I believe you're my people, because we share a lot in common. And I didn't even share any of my situations when I was in high school, but yours is extremely reminiscent
Yeah.
of things that I've experienced.
I know, it was crazy. And it wasn't only one time. It was like, it felt like it was happening in rapid succession. Like again, trauma timestamps things in your head, right? Some people repress it, or others, you know how a smell can remind you of your grandmother, or a smell reminds you, it takes you right to a place. I remember the first time I smelled gunpowder and the iron in blood. And I'm telling you, it was like yesterday. I was coming off the D train. Again, this was another incident that happened. And I feel like there was always like divine intervention that spared me from a lot of things, because I was on the D train coming home from night school, because I was taking night classes. After I joined the military, I went back to Brooklyn for a little bit and decided to go to college because I wanted to be a lawyer. That's what I thought.
What?
So I know.
Smart ass. Oh,
So
you nerd.
I was a nerd. That's what my ex-husband used to call me. But
ain't nothing wrong with that.
The D train got stuck between stops. And so it was delayed for like 10 minutes. That 10-minute delay, to this day, you can't tell me any different. That spared me from being in the line of gunfire, because when I got off the train and I was walking down Parkside Avenue to go towards Flatbush, that's where I grew up, there was an ambulance there, and cops had just got there and covered this young man with a sheet. And I just remember the street light shining in the middle of the sidewalk, and it was like glistening. You could see the blood like pooling in the sidewalk, and there was like chunks of brain matter. Like I recall all this.
Wow,
stuff
my God. Like, sheesh.
I know, because I'm walking, and the first thing I said when I got off the train was like, I smelled blood, but it was a lot. So, and I smelled the gun smoke, and I smelled the gunpowder and the blood smell. And where I had to walk in front of that building, his body was right there. So I'm thinking, if I was there any earlier, it could have been, guns have no care in the world. They hit whoever, right? There's no name on a bullet. When you fire a gun, it just goes wherever it goes. And
especially these dudes in the damn hood who don't know how to damn shoot.
That's exactly true.
And they so scared to get arrested,
or
so they shoot
shooting
from
sideways
and try to shoot while running and shoot while driving.
Yeah, and shooting sideways and doing all kinds of dumb stuff they see in the movies. And me being in the Army, that pisses me off, because we went through a whole month of learning to shoot properly and aim and adjust the target and do all this stuff. And here you are.
And they're doing it while moving. Like, okay, we're going to drive by him. Not understanding that I can't even stand still and hit this bottle that's like 10 feet away from me.
Exactly.
But I'm going to try to drive by and hit you. And they're hitting kids and everybody else that's not involved.
It's just dumb stuff. But yeah. So
wow.
I said all that to say, those were two of the several incidences that made me decide that it was time for me to get the hell up out of New York to save my life, because I just felt like it was too close to me, and I left.
Well, that explains to me why you got up out of New York, but that don't explain to me why you jumped from the frying pan into the fire.
Like going into the military?
Yes.
Because I felt, okay, because I felt like I had control of that.
Right.
And I know as weird as it may seem, because my dad did kind of sit me down when he found that I wanted to join. He was like, well, if this is what you really want to do, I'll give you some pointers. He's like, when you go there, you listen to the drill sergeants, you do X, Y, Z. But I felt like it was a decision that I made and it was something that I had control of. In New York, I felt like everything was happening to me and happening around me and I had no control of it.
You had no
So for
control
me,
over it.
joining the military was a way to get away, kind of decompress from New York and make my own choices and do something that I wanted to be proud of and serve my country. But to be honest, at 17, I wasn't thinking about serving no damn America. I just wanted to get the hell up out of New York. Let's be honest. I was not like, I'm a patriot. I'm going to go, and did not care at 17.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. Thank you so much for your service, because my punk ass would not do it at all. No, I'm not joining them. For what? No, nah, it's hard enough out here. I'm good. I'll find another way. But for you to do that, yeah, kudos to you. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think that being in the military made you a better person? Made you a worse person? Oh, okay.
It made me better because the challenges. So, man, look. For all their white audiences that are watching, the people in the audience that are watching.
For all you white people out there, why you had to say that to my?
I said the white audience. I didn't say
part
people.
out. Hold on, can we edit that? We're gonna edit that part out, okay? All right, we're gonna edit that part out.
Aren't they? You want me to say Caucasian?
Talking about the white people. For all the white people looking at me right now, she crazy. I told you.
Let me say crazy. Caucasian folks. Can I say Caucasian? Is that okay? Can I say the? Or do I say palm? Because you know how black people, when we talk about white folks, we do. Oh, I'm giving away secrets.
Yeah. See. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But no, so when I first joined the military, there was a girl who ended up being my battle buddy. She had never been around black people. She was from Massachusetts, right? And this is by her own admission, not me saying it. She touched my hair in the bleachers. Now,
Whoa, she didn't know that was racist?
No, because I don't think, and that's what I'm saying for the white audience, when you touch a black person's hair out of curiosity, it's almost like petting. Sorry, Van. I'm just putting you on game so you won't violate again. It's like, this is an extension of my body. So therefore, when you touch this, you're violating my personal space. And it's also, you feel like you're petting someone. Like, when you go to, oh, look at why is your hair like that? But we don't do that, right? For the most part.
We do it I've watched us do it. And
really?
The way we do it is, I've seen it done nicely, and I've seen it done in a rude way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's curiosity is, you just got to be careful with that. But so you're saying that the person that you first bonded with just so happened to be a white girl from Massachusetts.
And I'm telling you, it was like it was divine.
Serendipitous?
Yes, it was divine, because we're sitting in the bleachers. So when you first join and you go down to the reception station, anybody that's watching that's joined the military, you'll know what that means. So that's when you go and you get your gear and everything, and they kind of sit you down in these bleachers. You meet the drill sergeants, you kind of introduce yourself. They bring this hat and you pick the names out of the hat, basically. That person that you picked out of the hat is your battle buddy. Your battle buddy is your right-hand man. Wow. If they fall, you do not leave your buddy. It's like they become like this. Because in wartime, that's who's going to have your back.
I like that.
And I didn't realize it at the time, but when she touched my hair, I did that. Did you just touch my hair? And she's like, I'm so sorry. It's just like, how'd you get your hair like that? Because I had remember the salt and pepper bob cut?
Yes, I do. I
had one of those. I was rocking the creamy crack back in the day because I didn't know any better.
Yeah, you had to get a perm in order to rock that. And for the stay, if you unless you already had, have Caucasian in your family or something like that.
Or some other.
Or some other
ethnic
Hispanic
mix.
Or Asian.
Yeah. But no, but because I was in basic training, you couldn't take any utensils, or I would say products to keep your hair flat ironed or pressed. So after the humidity of Fort Jackson, South Carolina hit my hair, which was very thick at the time, my hair was like, so I looked like the helmet from Twiggy off of Buck Rogers. That's what my hair was looking like. I looked like Twiggy. And she just had to touch it. And I had a blunt cut. So, I didn't get the bump. So it was just like a shelf. So she
Oh,
decided
wow.
to come touch my hair. And I was like, please don't do that. And, she educated me about some things and biases that she had because of things that she heard from her
Right.
parents and
Right.
people around her. She thought our skin rubbed off, like the color rubbed off. She said she heard that we grew tails after midnight. Craziness.
It's silly stuff. It's silly
Absolute
stuff.
craziness.
What was her name?
But I can't say that.
What was her nickname?
I didn't give her a nickname. And she's probably married now and has a different last name, but I can't,
Oh no, don't say her last name. Just
her name was Rebecca.
Rebecca. Well, get out of here. You lying.
I'm not lying.
Her name was Becky.
Oh, snap. Yep. But this is pre Becky though. This was 1991. So this is pre
Becky.
Yeah.
So any of you who are watching right now, Jay-Z and Beyonce went through something that ended up with Solange, Jay-Z's sister-in-law, Beyonce's little sister, whooping Jay-Z's ass on an elevator because of a young lady by the name of Becky with the good.
How did you even segue to that? You so stupid. Yep.
I had to let them know because we're talking about Rebecca. They're like, okay, what's the significance of Rebecca? I know a lot of Rebeccas. I had to let them know. But let me ask you this though, because this is interesting. You grew up, first of all, it's Trinidad is mostly Black, right?
Yeah, Trinidad is mostly Black. And that goes to another thing. When I first came to America at the age of 7, everybody that was influential in my life looked like me.
Right.
So the teachers, the doctors, everybody looked like me. So I think it gave me a sense of belonging that probably, and I don't want to step on any toes or anything, but I feel like people who were born in America that look like me, who probably endured racism, I didn't endure that in Trinidad when I first, was born and living there.
Right.
It's not until I came to America that people started making me feel like I was different and trying to make me feel like I was beneath them and less than. But
because your people in Trinidad are not descendants of slaves?
A lot of them aren't. But like I said, there was an independence that happened many years before, and it was different. There are lots of people who lived there before and they were repatriated back to the island. So they were living as free men. And
ain't that some BS that people make you feel outside of their group because you don't share the same traumas as them?
Yep.
You don't. You can't compare to our struggle. Yes, I can. God damn it! What the hell?
Yeah, but it wasn't. I didn't know what it was to be Black because, again, everybody looked like me. I was just Tricia. I wasn't Tricia the Black girl. I was just me.
So New York taught you how to be Black.
No, actually, when I first came to America, we lived in Texas for a few years.
You still have a lot of family out Texas.
I do.
Okay.
So that's where I learned. I remember being 8 years old and a white man with a big belt buckle that had the Star of the Alamo on it. I'll never forget, with the map of Texas, silver belt buckle, told me he was going to show me some of this white power. That's how he said it. Kids. He said that to a bunch of kids because his daughter flicked water on us when she came out of the pool. And my friend Patrick kind of smacked her. He's like, hey, can you stop doing that? Like he got her attention to tell her to stop doing that. She ran inside and told her dad that we hit her. And he came out and yelled and cussed at us and shook his fist and with his belt buckle. And I just remember that look. But again, I didn't know what that word meant because I'm 8 years old. I came here at 7. And he said, I'm gonna show you. So I told my mom and she was like upset because she knew, being the adult. But yeah, he told me he's gonna show us some of that white power. I was like,
white power.
That's how he said it.
I actually talked to a gentleman by the name of Mark. His name, he's real big into stocks and bonds and just any type of investments. He's very well versed when it comes to that. One day I'm gonna have to let y'all meet one another because I'm going to create some sort of a panel of amazing minds, you being one of them, because at least you sound smart. Maybe you tricking the hell out of me. Extremely smart.
I try.
I mean, you wanted to be a lawyer. You're now in real estate. You're a nurse. You're doing all these other things.
And I'm a life insurance agent as well. So
life insurance agent. Plug. I mean,
Some
well,
life insurance.
yes. And that's something that we are definitely going to do. Make sure that people understand how to find you and all that. Trust me, all of
Yes.
your social medias will be above head the entire time we're doing this video.
Lord,
But
hit
the
me
reason
up.
why I bring this up is because he also served in the military. And a lot of people before serving in the military, especially if you're Black, will have this this bias toward white people and not want to be close to them around, like, you're not standing behind me with no gun. But when you're out there on the battlefield, do you give a damn if it's a white person or Asian person? Or
You don't. Because at that life, when life or death situations come, you don't care. It's like, do you have my back? And that's all that matters at that point. Because if you get to the point where you're in a life and death situation, you still have the wherewithal to be biased to someone, something is really wrong with you. Like, that's deep rooted stuff that you need to go to therapy for.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we all came in this earth one way and we're all gonna leave the same way, right? Don't matter.
You mean to tell me that when I die, I'm gonna have to go back inside of my mama's vagina? Okay, we're gonna edit that part out too. All right. Van,
what is wrong with him?
I
You just can't help yourself. You're not gonna ask me about my shirt. Plug Stuzo Clothing, IG.
Okay, a shout out to your Black Lives Matter shirt. Where'd you get it?
It is not Black Lives Matter. Not that that's anything wrong with that. I sound like
we about to get into it. This is about to get good. So I'm sorry. Where you get the Black Magic shirt?
So my friend Stony Michelle Love on IG has a store called Stuzo, Stuzo. She is a Black woman, it's Black-owned business, but she sells gender-neutral clothing. Okay. You know, so Stuzo Clothing, Stuzo on Instagram.
See, and that
I like to support Black-owned businesses. Sorry, but not sorry.
Why you say sorry?
I just said not sorry. I'm being sarcastic. I do, because, you know, we don't get enough attention, or we have deep pockets, but we spend it a lot on designers that really never had our faces and body figures in mind when they came up with designs and stuff.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I like to help out people who went through the same things as I did as well.
Yes.
Black-owned businesses is something that my wife and we like to support a lot. But something that I noticed that we do is we support people we support Black-owned businesses, while the people who own the Black-owned businesses support whatever they want to support. So it's like, why are we doing Black-owned businesses specifically? I mean, exactly what are we trying to do? Because it seems like everybody's wrapped up in just being the flyers, having what that person don't have, traveling to where that person didn't travel, just so that they can be able to post the video first and all this other BS. But when it comes to Black-owned, what exactly are we trying to accomplish? What are you trying to accomplish? Oh yeah, you're in the hot seat now. It's about to get good.
No, so I don't necessarily think I'm trying to accomplish something per se, but I just know that we've been marginalized as a whole, right? And so I try to support business. I can't with you. I was trying to stay.
I think it's beautiful. Here's the thing. I get it. I get it 100%, because I just want people to, I would love to be a part of a cause that's bigger than just me, bigger than just them. But it always comes down to greed at the end of the day. Now, this right here will take us over to my next question. Because I made a joke earlier about your Black Lives Matter t-shirt, and you were about to go in and say, no, it's not Black Lives Matter. Not that anything's wrong with that. I'm with you 100% on that. I actually think that when Black Lives Matter first started, me and my daughters, we were downtown Washington, D.C. We were in the parade. We were where they painted the ground Black Lives Matter. I went there,
had the fist in the air, we had Black Lives Matter Boulevard. Yeah.
And it was a whole bunch of people out there from different places that were starting chants. I'm like, whoa, they good with the chants. They are just like, let's go. Let's do another chant. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And we are in it, but I think it went left somewhere. the whole movement of Black Lives Matter? What's your thoughts on Black Lives Matter overall? And
So
brutal honesty.
brutal honesty, when it first started, I had a big sense of pride about it because I was like, wow, finally people get it. We feel seen. And what we kept trying to say for the longest times, it wasn't that nobody else's lives mattered. It was just that for so long in this country, we felt like our lives didn't matter. So to make that a banner was a declaration that our lives do matter. So stop killing us in the street like animals, right? Because it was centered around police brutality.
Right.
So that was what I had. I had a sense of pride. And I was like, wow, it's like, it's taken a turn in this country that people are really saying that our lives do matter. But what happened? You had so many people angry because a person said, hey, my life matters. Well, what about life? What about this? Doesn't my life matter? Yes, it does. But you're not the one who's being killed in record numbers by the people who are supposed to serve and protect. That's all it was supposed to be. And I think it got infiltrated by people who were greedy and tried to make it more about a money earning potential instead of a cause for equality, for reform, for education, as far as like police,
Right.
sensitivity training, whatever they had to do.
Right.
It stopped being about that. It became more political. And
Right.
once that happened, it went left, and now I don't like it.
Well, here's the thing. It's and just so y'all understand, and I'm talking to the audience, Black Lives Matter had a word, had a word behind it that was not mentioned in Black Lives Matter. It was supposed to have been Black Lives Matter, also Black Lives Matter as well.
Two.
Black Lives Matter too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's what it was supposed to have been about.
Yes.
The same reason why black people don't like the MAGA, because of the last A in MAGA. They're like, again? When was again? Please tell me. I got my notes and I'm about to take some notes with this. Please tell me, when was it? Because
Exactly.
most of us don't give a damn about, well, didn't anyway, because I started diving into it. I don't know if you were a real big history buff, but I was not. When it came to white America, I didn't care to know anything about it because I was forced in my schools, and you probably was too. I don't know if they taught the same things in New York that they did in DC, but they made us learn about Black history. They forced it down our damn throats. We pause. And but as far as white history, or not white history, American history, they didn't really stress that too much at all. I had to learn all of the Black leaders, but I did not have to learn all of the presidents of the United States.
Well, we did. It was a mix in New York, because New York is a little bit different. Yeah. So
See,
we
New
learned.
York is special. See, y'all are, I don't know, y'all are different.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Good different. A little
I don't know
too
if it's a
aggressive, like
compliment,
super
man.
aggressive for no reason, but y'all different.
Yeah, they talk like DMX, but no.
Well, DMX, that was my guy, man. RIP
Yeah.
to DMX. That guy he was outside at an really young age. He was
Yeah.
outside at a very young age. He hopped off the porch about 13 years old, and people like they just did him dirty. The old heads,
That was
they did not
Nas.
do him right at all.
Hey, Nasir Jones, holla.
Oh my
Nasir
gracious.
Obendara Jones, holla.
Oh my gracious.
That's my dude right there.
Nas. So have you heard about this whole situation going on with Kyrie Irving?
Who hasn't? Who hasn't?
Now, I heard that from Hebrew to the Negro is what the name of that Amazon Prime movie is that caused all of this.
Yeah.
And he asked people, well, he didn't ask people to go check it out. He just mentioned that
He posted
found a documentary that he thought
Mhm.
was interesting, right?
Yeah, that's all.
And
He
that's
didn't
all.
say, "Oh, it's true." He never commented that this is a factual document. He basically told people to go check it out. You can form your own opinion. Now, I watched a preview and I do have it in my cart. I will be watching it because I want to.
You want to see what it's all about?
Yeah, but prior to that, I've heard some things like that before because, again, growing up in New York, there were street corners that had the Black Hebrew Israelites, and they shared pamphlets and taught you certain
Right.
things.
Right.
And it's a historical documentary about the origins of Black Israelites and Jews as well. So some people always think that Jewish people are just only Ashkenazi Jews or whatever, the whiter Jews. But no, there's Jewish people that look like you and me. So what he did was not anti-Semitic, because Semite is a language. So if we are origins of Semitic people, how are we anti-Semitic because we're posting something about our beginnings?
Look at you getting all smarty-eyed.
I'm just saying, people jump on bandwagons without doing the research. And where's the outrage at Jeff Bezos and Amazon for actually having the documentary that Kyrie Irving could find to post? It's still there
on his platform. It's still there.
It's still on the
there
platform.
for purchase. It's not even there for free. It's there for purchase.
It's there for purchase or rent. Exactly. So where's the big outrage about Amazon airing it?
Capitalism.
And Amazon having it there and other people? I don't understand the outrage.
Here's the thing. See, and this is the part right here. Capitalism always reigns supreme. And Jeff Bezos is, I'm sure too many people are mentioning his name right now, where he's going to, if you're going to watch it, you might want to watch it right away, because I'm thinking that a lot of people are getting louder and louder and louder that bad boy will be taken down very soon.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But Jeff Bezos might be like, man, kick rocks. I'm super rich. I don't need y'all. But
he'll be a thug like Elon.
What'd you say?
He'll be a thug like Elon. Yo, Elon is petty.
Elon is he's my kind of petty though. He's my kind of petty. Speaking of petty, speaking of petty, and feel free, brutal honesty.
Mm-hmm.
Always. How do you feel about Donald J. Trump?
He makes me sigh. Okay, so let me tell you. Because I don't know if I can take him seriously, right? I feel sometimes like he's still playing a role a lot of times. And I think he plays both sides.
Sure.
Because, back in the day, Donald Trump was the man, especially to a lot of rappers and a lot of wealthy people, Black people too. Donald Trump was the man. They mentioned him in their rap lyrics and everything. And he was that cool guy. But then he flipped a switch on the Central Park 5 and said they need to be executed, basically. And people were like, well, wait a minute, you're supposed to be cool with us. Why would you request for these 5 young men to just be killed, even though the evidence came out they had nothing to do with this woman being raped in Central Park? If anyone doesn't know about the Central Park issue, go watch When They See Us. Great documentary by Ava DuVernay. Anyway.
Okay.
So that Donald Trump.
Teach.
I'm sorry. That Donald Trump kind of makes me go, But then I see him doing things that I think were beneficial for the country. Like, I know some of this inflation and all this crap. Okay. Yeah, stop me.
No. You're good, because I want to go there, but just because you're running, like you're a teacher.
I'm sorry.
I really want you to teach this, because what you're saying is valid. It needs to be heard. And honestly, you're teaching me, because I just pass over these topics if it doesn't directly relate to what's going on inside my doors.
Yeah.
Or something that directly impacts my children. Then I've stopped fighting for the masses. Now I've just now picked up that mantle and started back, and I'll tell you why a little later. But by me stopping the fight, I stopped paying attention to certain things. Mm-hmm. Now, when the Central Park situation happened, I mean, I went to rallies. I was trying to be out there. I had braids then before I grew my locks.
I was living in New York when it happened. I remember it like yesterday. I was still in New York when it happened. I remember it.
Yeah. So I was still out. I was outside, but at the end of the day, I am not aware of him saying that. And it's good that you're giving me that information. Of course, I'm gonna go check it out and everything, but it's good that you're giving me this information. Also, other people with this information who's watching. So, but when I also checked out some of his videos from like 1986,
Yeah.
and I listened to some of his rhetoric today, he, and this is a good thing though, he speaks the same exact way
Yeah.
about politicians. He never trusted them. He
No.
speaks the same exact way about presidents
Yeah.
who are in office. And he says that with the right person running the country, things could be like tremendous
Absolutely.
when it comes to our economy and whatnot. But he always had pretty much the same rhetoric. Like every single time he was interviewed by someone, but he also had a bunch of friends in real estate, a bunch of friends in Hollywood, and I really didn't see this change up or the switch up. But those type of comments, like you just now told me, him knowing that the young men did not commit the crime that they were being accused of, but
Yeah.
still wanting them to be executed. I'm not aware of that. So that's something that I have to go look into.
Yeah.
And guys, if y'all know anything about it, feel free to comment below any type of information that you may have or where I
think
can
it was in the
go
Daily
to find out
News.
more.
Yeah, I think he'd made a comment in the Daily News or the New York Post, one of those, but he commented about them, they should be put in jail for life or executed.
Okay.
And if I'm wrong, correct me as well, but I believe it was along those lines. He didn't care if they were innocent because the truth came out eventually that they did not do this after the person had confessed to actually doing it.
So Trump, when he said that, that kind of put a sour taste in your mouth for
In a
Trump.
lot of people's mouths, because it felt like it was coming from a place of bias.
Okay.
Because, you ask yourself, had it been 5 Caucasian men that did this, would he have had the same energy? Like,
Right.
nowadays we see keep that same energy. Would he have kept that same energy had it been 5 people that look like him?
Okay.
And I think not. They would have called it, oh, it's locker room stuff. Let boys be boys.
Oh my gracious.
I'm sorry.
But okay. So let me ask you this then. While he was in office, did he say or do anything that was similar to that, that put that distrust in you even more, or put that sour taste in your mouth?
So you're saying that as if I don't like him. So
no, I'm not trying. No,
no,
if
I'm
I
not.
said
I'm not
that
accusing.
way,
I'm just saying it's coming up. I think actually he would have made a good. I think he was a good president if he could have been honed a little bit. He needed some honing. I think once, like you sharpen something and then you have to hone the blade to get it to be
he was a
sharp.
wild dude. He was a wild
That's what I'm
dude in
saying. It was
office.
like a lot of jagged edges on him. And like when he went to that summit and he pushed past all those people and like just he had no couth.
That New York came out.
The New Yorker in him came out. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think the country, as far as our economy, was in a better state. I think we had a little bit more respect from other countries because he was this presence. And I think other countries knew he wasn't about any BS. Right. And I think that's what he represented, this kind of strong man personality. But it was like gangster, like, old Al Capone. I don't know. He was just like gangster with it a lot.
I got you 100%. I'm picking up what you're putting down because,
right?
But a lot of people on the left, though, and I'm not asking you your party affiliation. That's none of my business. But a lot of people on the left acted as if
bravado
that he walked around with kind of came off as ignorance to some people. It came off as embarrassing to some people, where they saying we were the laughing stock of our country. Nobody laughed at us as much as they do now. But like you just now said, his approaching situations with that bit of off balance arrogance, so to speak, it kind of made other leaders of other countries feel uneasy, and they did not want to test that guy at all.
Exactly. So in that regard, we were strong. It made us, that's why I said he needed some honing, because had he been a seasoned person, because he wasn't a politician. I think he hates politicians. He
Right.
hated politicking. He just found himself in that arena and then he won. So it was like him trying to play catch up, because now he ran, he campaigned, he won, and okay, here I am, I'm president now. And I think some of it went to his head. Honestly,
Of
I think,
course.
oh yeah, I think he became a little power hungry. You could see like it changed, and I was like, hold up, Donald,
Yeah. I mean, because
doing the
that's
most
like the
right now.
biggest, that's in my opinion, this is just me. This is
Mhm.
just me because I look at the world as a whole and I look at who's the loudest. And I believe that that's like the highest job in the world,
Yes, it
in
is.
my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And he had it. And
Mhm.
he's always been a part of a winning culture.
Yeah.
And to him, it was all about winning, and he didn't care about. But this is the thing that earned my respect. I will tell you this much: when he showed that he really didn't care too much about what other politicians thought about him,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and I like that. I like that. I didn't like
I,
um, how he represented the country
yeah.
on Twitter,
Oh my God.
because I'm a Christian,
Yeah.
and I had this. Whoa, you're not supposed to act like that. You're supposed to calm down a little bit. Have
Yeah,
some
be a
time.
little reserved, like
Yeah,
you can still
yeah,
be strong without doing that.
yeah.
I think strength is silence a lot of times. Make moves behind the scenes. You don't have to be tweeting everything. And that's why I said he needed to have a little bit of honing. He didn't listen to his advisors. And I think he alienated a lot of people because he didn't want to listen. And
Right.
he surrounded himself with a bunch of idiots. A lot of people that he hired went to jail and I mean, look at all the people that, if you put him up on a little scale or do a tree and look at all the people that went to jail and all the crimes that they committed, it was a mafia ring. Basically, he was running the country like a kingpin.
So you saying the Donald Trump mafia
It was the
tree?
Donald.
The Donald. I'm the Donald.
The
I'm the
Donald.
Donald.
Yeah.
I'm the Donald. You know what? But
I'm gonna
okay, let
run
me ask you
for
this
my
then. Since we're talking about the Donald,
life.
who's a better president, him or Joe Biden?
I don't care if anybody says anything. I'm looking in this camera. Donald Trump was a better president.
I don't care if anybody. How come you had to give the disclaimer though?
Because
That's the
people
thing.
get in their
Why can't
feelings.
we just answer this question
Because
without the
looking like me,
disclaimer?
they expect me to be like the lady when I went to the polling place today because I voted. She was like, "You want this stuff on the Democratic?" I looked at her. I was like, "Why are you assuming I'm a Democrat?" Like, I have to be petty, and I like being petty. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm glad you did that because for many years, and my wife, she calls me the R word all the time, meaning that I'm gone in my brain. My
I
brain is
know.
not right.
I'm between R and I.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
she says that's me. But so I was registered Republican for like the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought I was doing it as a sneak attack because I was like, look, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna register as Republican, but I'm only gonna vote Democrat. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was being a genius by doing it. And I was like, this is not really, feeling as good as I thought it was going to feel. I thought I was going to really be like infiltrating.
Because it's however you vote. I mean, you don't matter.
But then I realized a great majority of my interests are conservative. I didn't know that. All right, so but when I go to the polling, they look at me like, they say they say Republican, right? They say Republican, right? I'm like, yeah,
Mind your business.
yeah. They like, oh, it's supposed to say that. I'm like, can I goddamn?
People need to study history and understand that many of us were Republicans back in the day. If you
Yeah, but
look
what
at
about
some
the
of,
big switch? They say that's about the big switch.
that's a bunch of BS.
Yeah, I'm hearing and I'm seeing that is a bunch of BS, but a lot of people, especially people who don't agree with like us.
Yeah. Us's.
And you have anything positive to say about conservatism, that can come off looking kind of crazy to some people. If you
I won't
post
say
too
the
many
word.
pictures online and and the majority of the bunch in the pictures don't look like us.
Oh, like
People
my
have
pictures
certain
that I post.
thoughts. Have you noticed?
Yeah, you get the little comment like, what? Why can't I just listen to Metallica and look like this? Why can't I just like Pantera one week and then listen to Nas the next? Why can't I just do that? You know,
You most certainly can. You most certainly can. I mean, but do you give a crap about what people think about you? Still,
I don't.
You
I
don't?
don't. Nope. I was that girl in Brooklyn playing Led Zeppelin loud and Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction loud in Brooklyn. Didn't care. And then the next week I'll be playing EPMD and Eric B. and Rakim. I didn't care.
Onyx.
No. That was a little bit later. Yeah.
Oh, that was because you went way back with the EPMD
Yeah, because
and
I'm old, you know.
Rakim.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've got you a little bit more adobo than me.
Season. It's Lowry's, man. Adobo.
You're a little bit more Lowry's than me.
Yeah.
All right, so another person that looked like us, they get a lot of flack for her way of thinking is Candace Owens.
I actually follow her channel.
Do people know that? Do your friends know that?
Yes, some of them do. Because guess what? I'm not a sheep, right? One thing I'm gonna do, I do my research. I know people say a lot of things for reactions.
Right.
But if you watch and really stop looking at the messenger and listen to the message, I think a lot of times people will find that they agree with some of the things that she's saying. And so I mean, she gets out there sometimes and I'm like, okay, Candace, not today. But for the most part, she's not saying anything wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I watch a few of her videos and I was like, you know what, let me go follow this chick. And I follow her and I watch her stuff. And I think she says the uncomfortable things that a lot of people don't want to say.
Do you think she'll have more respect in the Black community if she married a Black man?
Uh-huh. Yeah, because now she's called, the word, the
Yeah.
BW.
Yeah. They call her a lot of stuff. I heard somebody call her a boot wench.
It's a bed wench.
A
They call
bed?
her a
Oh, is it boot
wench.
wench? It's not a bed
It's a
wench. It's
bed
boot
wench.
wench. It's bed wench.
Yeah.
What the is a bed wench? What the hell is a bed wench?
From, when in slavery times when
Why do people always got to go back to slavery? Well, I got to find me a slavery name to call you because, I got one for you. You Sambo.
no, it's like back in the day when, the men of the house would go and find a nice looking young enslaved woman to warm his
bed.
loins.
And they call
And
that the bed wench.
yeah, because that's what they would do. They would go pick a nice ripe young woman. That's why we got all these light skin children. You gotta edit that.
We're not editing out everything. I'm trying to tell you that right now. So feel free to talk as reckless as you want. You're going to be surprised. You're going to be like, whoa, Van, you kept that in. What? One thing I will say, because I didn't like Candace at first.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like her at all. When my daughter was telling me to check her out, my daughter's now 25. Damn, we getting old, man. Sheesh.
You getting old.
And some of us are getting better. But check this out. So my daughter, she was catching flack on Twitter amongst her own friend group. And they was like, why do you like her? Why do you believe this? And like she got canceled before cancel is canceled. Like her friends started acting a little ridiculous toward her. And she was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But then she said, Daddy, she said, I think you would think she's extremely smart if you just gave her a chance. And I gave her a chance and she was right.
Yep.
She was right. She represents to me.
She's very sharp.
Yeah, she's very sharp. She's very sharp. She's very charming. She represents Black women very well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the one thing that people are pissed off about is how you're going to talk about Black babies, Black babies, Black babies. And they're saying you keep having white babies. I'm like, she's not having white babies just because she's married to.
Yeah. It's amazing how it flips when people want the narrative to change, because before it used to be like one drop of black blood make you black. Now all of a sudden she's having white babies because they don't like her.
Yeah. They say she's sleeping with the enemy. Ain't that silly?
So, Junebug and them was in the hood doing devilishment to our aunties and uncles and our grandparents. But we don't sit there and say all Black men are bad, do we? So how are we saying that he's the enemy because he's white?
And that's one thing that I was bringing up because it's unfortunate, and I don't want to say that Black men are bad. I'm not going to say that at all. But what I will say is, it's very rare that I come across a woman my age who either they didn't experience, they experienced molestation or some type of physical abuse in that way.
Yeah.
Or they know somebody very close to them who has. And exactly. So it's like without even, and that's the sad part. So we walk around with our chests all out thinking that we're better than people. And then we sit in the church looking at a pastor who did this to like 4 or 5 girls and boys in a daggone church. And we like.
Exactly. We don't address the mess in our own community.
Right.
But we're quick to point it out. They always say if you point one finger at somebody, you got 3 pointing back at you.
Go ahead.
But we're always pointing and saying, well, they did this. Why? Because their skin is different? But what have you personally done to harm your own community and harm your own family? And I'm not even talking about Black on Black crime, because that's a misnomer. You commit crimes against the people who you're in close proximity with. There's white on white crime. There's Hispanic on Hispanic crime.
Right.
But this Black on Black crime thing is a political, talking point.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of times it's we say it's political talking points because it is a political talking point. But
Absolutely.
The reason why it has any power to it is because we give it power.
Yeah. And keep perpetuating the same thing over and over BS, like shooting somebody over a dice game or bowling.
Or not knowing how to approach a woman, calling her a B because she wants to keep walking.
Yeah, because you say, hey, mommy. Okay, that's another incident why I left New York. I got to tell the story.
What happened?
Brief. Remember I told you I was going to night school, right? Because I thought I wanted to be a lawyer.
Right.
So this is before the train incident where I saw the person in the street.
Covered up in a sheet.
Oh, yes. So I'm on 7th Avenue in Brooklyn, downtown Brooklyn. And I got off the train, and I will normally take $1 van. If you're not from New York, this is where you can pay $1, and it's illegal. It's not a registered taxi. It's an unregistered taxi. You pay $1. It takes you where you want to go. They make a lot of money. It's not a yellow taxi because they charge you too much. So I'm standing on 7th Avenue in Flatbush waiting on $1 van to take me down to Hawthorne Street where I live, because I didn't want to take the train to Parkside because I hated coming off of Parkside. There was always some BS going on. So standing there, had my little black skirt on. I had a little green chartreuse fuzzy blazer, my little umbrella in my hand and backpack, waiting on the $1 van.
Your memory is how do you remember this?
Because trauma timestamps in my brain. That's the thing. And so it's good, but it's not good. So I have trauma timestamps. And so the car pulls up, and you know how TLC was talking about the scrub?
Yeah.
The passenger side window, yes. He makes a comment, hey, blah, 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 you need a ride. I was like, no, I'm good. No, well, you need to get a ride. You don't need to be out here by yourself, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, the van is coming. I'm okay. I'm trying to ignore this person and pretend like I'm just standing. So he gets out of the car, walks towards me, and I took a step back, and then he proceeds to grab my wrist and talking to me and say, yeah. And so I did, one of the little, and I got my wrist out. I was like, don't grab me like that. And he was like, I was trying to get your number. Why you being so mean? Look. I was like, look, can I just give you my number and you can call me? So I always had a fake number and a fake name. I told him my name was Courtney, and I gave him some fake number, right? That was always my little go-to. So he's like, I'm going to call you too, and this better be your number, like all that. Right. So he's like threatening me. So he gets back in the car. Meanwhile, the $1 van pulls up, and I jump in.
This better be your number.
Right. He's like, this better be, I'm going to call you too. I'm going to call you tonight, like that. This is before cell phones.
Yeah, so he couldn't confirm right then and there.
Exactly. He had to wait till he right. So I know these people on here be like, damn, she old as shit before a cell phone. I get in the dollar van and the driver didn't have any other passengers. So I just tell him, I was like, stay right there. Don't move. Let them drive off. And he was like, what's going on? I said, I don't know these guys and I'm afraid. Like, I don't feel good about this. Do you know the guy comes out, passenger guy again, comes out, walks to the driver's side of the van and was like, no, we're going to give her a ride. She's good. I was like, I'm okay.
What?
I'm going to go in the dollar van. So finally, he gets in his car because he realized that we're not going to, give him what he wants. So the guy waits. They pull up and go and park right ahead of the bus stop. And so the dollar van pulls out. So they did that so they could follow us. So they drove off, but then they pulled up. And I'm like remembering this. So the dollar van is flying down Flatbush, right? We're trying to beat all these lights.
A high speed pursuit.
We're trying to beat all these. I mean, I'm laughing now, but I remember my heart was pounding. And we're driving on Flatbush. We're making all the lights. And in New York, when the light turns green, people go. So there's no, they pop up on 1 second. So we're flying down Flatbush. We pull over, they pull over.
Wow.
We speed up, they speed up. Like they're following us.
They trying to get to your place. They trying to figure out where you are.
Man, look, I'm going to tell you again, divine intervention. Right on Winthrop Street, one-way streets in New York, right? Just like DC. The dollar van makes a left turn down Winthrop Street and then looped around Bedford Avenue to come back up Hawthorne to drop me off. They missed the light because, like I said, when the cross traffic light turned green, people are flying. That one incident was allowed me to get home. I paid that guy that money, and I think I did like a combat roll out of that van and ran down into the brownstone where we lived, shut the door, and then I remember just going inside and my heart was beating and I started crying. And my mom was like, what? In her accent, what's wrong with you, Gil? Like, I was crying. I was like, oh my God, somebody's trying to kidnap me.
Oh my gracious.
Yeah. And
man. They could have done some unthinkable stuff. Like that could have been your last night on this earth.
Yeah. So
no bull.
That was another incident. And I had one more that I actually had a gun pulled on me. But
you were in the army. That's what happens.
No, this is in New York.
Oh.
This is why I joined the army, to get away from. Isn't it amazing? I joined the army for safety from New York.
But that makes sense though, because now your gang is huge. They don't want to mess with your gang. You got lifelong gang members forever.
Yeah. So again, those are a lot of the things. This is doubling back to what we originally started talking about, why I joined the army. It was because of those incidences and the gun being pulled on me and my sister in broad daylight in New York. Nobody cared. Actually, a kid was laughing at us, but yeah. That
was our times. It's unfortunate that we had to witness those things. We had to be a part of those things. It's crazy. Like we had to see people be murdered. We had to always be close. Everybody knows somebody that's been murdered. Everybody knows somebody that robbed somebody. Everybody knows somebody who's in jail. Everybody know a woman who's been molested. Like, why does this go on and on and on in our community? Yeah. But we always act as if we good. We don't need y'all. We good.
It's always that one overly friendly uncle. They want, come sit on my lap.
But you know what? When it comes to the Black family, that's an unfortunate truth right there, what you just now said.
Yeah.
It's always an uncle. And then guess what? The grandma always taking up for him.
Oh, yeah. Turn a blind eye.
Yeah, always taking up for him. And he always, and everybody is, and then when you go back to, I don't know if this happened in Trinidad. But when you go down the lineage of Black families, you will find out that one of your aunts was born, your grandfather's, you'll have a cousin who the father of your cousins are your grandfather because he raped his own daughter. And it was
craziness.
Horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible. But every cookout, they come. Every cookout, we show them love. We just won't stay around them. Just you tell your kids, you don't be over there too
Yeah.
long. And if he say something, you come and let me know. But he
Can't
always
go to
there.
that house. But and see, that's the thing. And we're expected to deal with all that trauma.
Yeah.
We never heal. So if you couple that with what, as a collective, that we've dealt with in this country, right? From outside forces, from the institutionalized racism, and then all this other stuff, and the, you know, creating ghettos and all this stuff. And then you got to deal with the stuff that's in your own family. It's a wonder. It's amazing that we're still here, and a lot of us sane and can even function on a day-to-day basis.
Honestly, I think we need darkness in our lives to feel sane sometimes. At least, okay, when I say we, I'm talking about myself. Like, I know a lot of people who won't go in my old neighborhoods. I know it for certain. But when I go around there, I promise you, I can take a nap in the flatbed of my truck and I will be fine. Because I feel like this darkness is, I'm in it. This is me. This is who I am. But then my dumb ass end up getting robbed and shot in my own neighborhood, because that's what happens. You look at heroes like rappers, all these rappers that are being shot and killed. A lot of them are being shot and killed by friends of theirs or by young kids that they allowed to be in their crew and go to the clubs with them and drink for free and all this other stuff.
And then they get jealous. Like Pop Smoke got killed over being robbed. XX Tentacion, whatever, got robbed from going to buy a motorcycle. It's like, what's wrong? And what did you gain? You just took a whole life off this earth. And what did you gain for that?
Well, apparently these youngers getting paid for it. They're getting paid for it. They're getting paid for it.
Paying them?
These youngers are getting like $10,000 a piece to go and kill these dudes. No bull.
10 grand ain't jack. That's $1. Think about it. $10,000. That ain't nothing, because you know they spending that in a few days.
They spend that in a few days, in like a day. They spend that in a night at the strip club.
I'm gonna go buy me some Balenciagas.
Yeah.
Just so they can look fly.
Yeah. 10,000 go
no property.
Quick. Very quick. Not that I would know it, because I never came across 10,000. I'm still on the welfares. All right. Trying to get my piece of the pie. I'm gonna take a sip on
that. This ginger tea, y'all. It ain't no alcohol in here.
Well, I'm glad you drank it, because I got a question for you. Now I know we got an issue with my man because of the Kardashians, but I think the Kardashians' cooch is made out of gold.
No, they're cursed. I think they're a coven of witches.
I believe they are. And I believe you have to give some blood or something in order to be a part of that coven. Succubuses.
I think that's what it is. They're
now, do you think Kanye is crazy from the last situations that's been going on, as far as the things that he's been saying on different shows about Jews and how they are taking advantage of the Black community through hip hop culture and different things? Or, I mean, what do you think about anything that he's been saying lately?
I don't think he's crazy. And so if you follow hip hop, you and I both know, and again, just because a person calls out the uncomfortable truth doesn't make them crazy, right? It's not uncommon. It's not something that is not known within the hip hop community. We know that a lot of Jewish people own those record labels. We know that they would get artists to sign these contracts and barely make any money, and they were making all the money off of it. I mean, how many times have we seen artists battle with these companies, and then you go look at who's the CEO of that company? Excuse me, it's not a Black person. It's not a normal, Caucasian person. They're sometimes Jewish. So did he say something wrong? If you're
I don't think so.
Artists sign a contract that is not in their best, interest, but you're going to make all this money off of them, and they're tied into, you need to churn out 5 albums for me, no matter what. And they're only making a penny off this, and you're making $10 off of it. I'm just using that as an example. Who's the evil one? Or let me not say evil. Who's the one that's being deceitful?
Hold on one second.
The artist?
When she called the Jews evil, we're gonna have to edit that part out. You trying to get me canceled? Who's the evil one? Saying. Clearly it's them.
No. Who's the deceitful one? Who's deceiving and making more of the profit? It's not the artists, it's the CEOs. And if they know that they're giving these bogus types of contracts to these young Black artists who just want a chain, Run DMC and them talked about this. Public Enemy talked about this.
They did. Public Enemy.
Not Kanye, just Kanye. It's been known.
It's, you know what? And Public Enemy has been talking about this for a long time. Ice Cube picked up the mantle and started talking about it as well. And who is also a supporter of Trump, Ice Cube. But I have a different take on it, though.
Mm-hmm. On Kanye?
On Kanye, but on this whole thing, because we continue to, I'm big on accountability. Mm-hmm. I am, and only because I know that if you don't get out there and do it, nobody else is going to do it. If you don't get out there and work, who else is going to feed you?
Yeah,
it's you.
Yeah,
and you got some decisions to make. Like you can literally say, you know what? I'm tired of dealing with the work that I do. I want to make 10 bands a night. And you can go strip if you want. Mm-hmm. You can go and degrade yourself if you like. Absolutely. You know that, right? And you know you can get paid for doing it.
Yeah.
You can start rapping today, talking about all of the different ways you can make a man feel good or make a woman feel good. You can do all of those things, but you decide to have some integrity.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. When we talk about Black people and how strong we are, but then whenever we want to blame somebody for something, we want to point at how weak we are. That don't jive with me too well, because I know for certain that all them people that signed to Bad Boy, they wouldn't have been signed to no daggone Jewish record label if it wasn't for a Diddy that introduced them to it, because he saw the hustle in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or Dame Dash with everybody that was up under him. Mm-hmm. And Jay-Z too, because he knew the game. Like, once we know the game, then it's our job to let people know what's up and give them a fair shake and see if they really want to be a part of it. But we run it. We run the play and we become the super millionaires. While name just one of P. Diddy's many artists who are doing well for themselves today.
One is dead, one is in jail, the others didn't drop their album. I'm like, and there's rumors about Diddy and some of his, anyway.
But I'm just saying, and I'm not trying to poop on Diddy, because Diddy is he's a huge businessman. I love his the way he does business and have always not given a crap about what people think. He said, look, I'm gonna go get it, and whoever want to get it with me, then let's go. But he treated the record business, the music business, the music industry like the streets.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of these dudes do. And I don't want to say this, but I got to say this. And I'm still a fan of hip hop, even while saying this. So this shows how ridiculous I am. But we sell out more than anybody, because hip hop was started to stop crime, to bring us together.
Yes. To send a message of upliftment and to make you feel proud to be Black, and by a Jamaican guy. You can finally say Jamaican, Cool Herc, out in the Bronx.
And what we decide to do with it, we decide to sell our souls, to kill more, to have more stories to tell, to sell
more. Some gold on your neck and some shoes on your feet and a nice car.
And we ruined it. And now we want to blame the white man for being a puppet master. I'm not with it. Now,
stop going to the fun house if you don't want to play. I get what you're saying. Stop signing the contracts. Go somewhere else and figure it out on your own. Like Master P. That's why I respect Master P. He started his own. He's like, okay, and he put people on. Now, what they decided to do with the opportunity he gave them, Silk the Shaka, mystical, is up to them. But he started his own. And so I respect him.
But you know, a lot of people, I like how, although he don't have a whole bunch of people who really thrived from him because they were still living that street life and loving that extra money that they were having. So I get it. But the thing, because we already aren't that great with money, you already know that. How many of us out there, how many rappers you know that's making millions right now got life insurance?
I don't even know. Nas, he better have it because I know he's smart.
And if they don't have life insurance, make sure y'all call her and go to her Instagram.
Seriously, y'all. It's not a scam. You insure your house, you insure your car. Your life is more important than both of those things. Insure that too.
No, but how did you get into life insurance?
Honestly, I was tired of seeing people do GoFundMe pages on Facebook to bury their.
Oh my gosh, selling chicken plates to bury their cousin.
That's like such a horrible legacy to, like, you know, that you have to have somebody sit here and beg other people for money to put your body in the ground, when you could have had a life insurance policy for less than it is on the weekend when you go out and buy liquor and dinner and all this stuff and go to the movies. Even you can have a policy started that will make sure that your family, for one, is taken care of. You can be buried and you can leave a legacy of blessings instead of lack. You can leave them a blessing instead of debt. I got tired of it. So one of my friends came to me and she was doing it and she said, you know what? You should get your life insurance license. And at first I was like, whatever. I put it off for like 5 months. And then I saw one too many ads on Facebook and I was like, that's it. And I got my license. And I signed up like 5 people who are older than me that don't have policies. And the younger you start, the better. Because it's not just about dying. There's living benefits that are attached to some of these policies where if something happens to you, you can still pay your mortgage. You can still get a monthly income to pay your bills.
Wow.
So it's not just about you having to die to get the money. But if you do happen to die, guess what? Your family is not stuck trying to pay the mortgage and then losing the house that you worked so hard to buy. Why would you put your family in that predicament?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The forethought. I mean, a lot of us lack.
We don't think about it. We don't.
I mean,
don't think about it until it's too late.
But you know, it's and this is another thing that I'd like to fuss, and this has something to do with what you're talking about with the life insurance. And my wife, she fusses at me all the time, like, here you go, talking that stuff, because I got to. I got to. We won't pay for life insurance. But we will pay for J's. We will pay for Yeezys. And we will get in line. We will go onto an app. Like the apps are the new line. Like you gotta, in order to get the new shoes out, you gotta have 4 or 5 people a part of the whole plan. Okay, what we're gonna do? All of us is gonna get on there at this time, and it's gonna be this. You just offer something because they go so fast. These bots, they take them, they pay for the $300 shoe, and then they put them back up for 400 or
that's ridiculous.
Double. But reason why I say that is because we focus a lot on lack when it helps us to focus on lack. But when we want to focus on prosperity, we do. It's just not the things that matter.
Not that, yeah. How much do we spend per year on sneakers? Like, you know that Black people as a whole, African Americans, whatever you want to call us, how much money do we contribute to sneakers every year? I mean, it's in the trillions.
Whatever the number is, I will say, give us at least 60% of that.
We have money.
We have money.
What do we spend it on is the problem.
Bull, sugar, honey, iced tea is what we spend it on.
And I got to get on some of these women that might be watching. You know how many people spend money per year, thousands of dollars on getting fake nails?
Every 2 weeks.
That's what I'm saying, but add it up. You're talking 75, 80, 90, 100 and something dollars every 2 weeks to go get fillers, and it ruins your nail bed. Add that up for the year.
It messes your nails up. It messes your nails up, and you spending all of that money to mess your nails up.
And go breathe in chemicals that can kill you.
Yeah.
over time.
Well, vanity is huge on our to-do list. I mean, we got to make sure we look good and we smell good, and we doing it to try to make people. We trying to poop on people, like not poop on people. When I say poop
I
on
know what you
people,
mean.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
But
you got to explain it to the audience.
so for y'all to understand what I mean, this
Shit
we
on
want to
them.
stunt on people. We want to look better than them. We want to have things that they don't have. I think I mentioned that earlier in the video, but it just is what it is. We need to better our thinking. And once we do that, we realize that we actually got it far better than we think we have it. Like we're so spoiled.
We
We
are
are
sometimes our
spoiled
own worst enemy.
AF. Oh my gracious. Oh
Yeah.
my gracious.
See, now we sound like Kanye and Candace.
That's
That's what folks gonna say. Oh, they talking that stuff about
his
upliftment and spending your money wisely.
But here's the thing though, Tricia. Here's the thing. All we're doing is focusing more on the positive and not as much on the negative. That's all we're doing. That's the same thing that God intended Adam and Eve to do, to focus on the abundance.
Yes.
Y'all can have anything, but just this one tree, you stay the hell away from it.
Stay away from them jades.
And they had to focus on the lack because
Yeah.
they had Satan in their ear, like, okay, listen, why can't you have that?
Yeah.
And that's what we do. We focus on that lack, the one thing we don't have. Yeah, we got our mother in the house. We got our father in the house. But I want some shoes like my friends got. I got to get out there on the block.
Some damn shoes. And so I'm going to get deep on you real quick. And the shoes, right? Because walking barefoot is good for you, right? It grounds.
I heard that before. And yeah, since I'm not from the tropics or the tropical nations like you, I don't really do all that. I always got on
socks. You can ground
socks.
here in America as well. And if you can't go outside because it's too cold, there's a grounding mat that you can get that kind of grounds you. But go research grounding and what it does for your body. It's just a way to reconnect you and center you. But we wear these shoes that have all these soles on them that insulate, and they don't allow you to ground anymore. So you build up all this toxicity in your body. You think why people are so angry now, why people are so on edge all the time and antsy. You need to get that stuff off. That's what grounding does. It helps you to dissipate all of that stuff.
So in the summertime, I should take advantage and just
go stand in the grass 20 minutes a day. You saw me posting those videos. Just put your feet in the grass and ground yourself for 20 minutes a day. It helps you to get rid of a whole lot of negative energy.
Get out of here.
It's not spooky science. It's real. So
my wife gonna be looking out the window like,
get your what the hell you doing out there?
Your socks
Put some damn shoes on.
Yeah, ugly ass feet. Yeah, I got some ugly feet. I don't care. Y'all can kiss my butt.
Ugly feet? Your toes look like turn signals?
They look just like my fingers.
I'm not laughing at you.
They long and skinny. This is my toes.
Part right amphibian. What's going on with you, man?
This is my toes right here. Like seriously, probably the only difference is I don't have a ring on my toes. But other than that, you're looking at my feet right now. This my feet look exactly the same.
You must swim hella good.
Listen, I try.
I can't swim.
My swimming instructor. No. I actually swim like a fish.
I can't. I sink.
Hold on, but you was in the Army.
What that got to do with it?
Because y'all are forced to swim in your whole uniform and stuff, right?
That was G.I. Jane the movie, and she was in the Marines. That was not Army.
Oh.
Nope. We don't do that. I wasn't in the special forces. I wasn't a SEAL or anything like that. I was a combat medic.
Okay. Walking around with a big old helmet.
I was running around with I had a 9mm, and in my vehicle, I had a M16. But I was running around with my little aid bag and Kevlar helmet.
Look at you, soldier, sister soldier.
Tiny self. That's why I got all these issues now.
Well, let me ask you this before we go, because this is, I want you to, because you're ex-military. Well, no, you're military. You probably say ex, retired, Military is what you, I don't know the right way to say it.
It's I'm a veteran.
You're a vet. Okay,
Yeah.
you're a veteran.
Mhm.
How do you feel about the American flag?
In what regard?
Repping it,
Repping the American flag?
wearing it,
Oh,
carrying it, posting
okay.
it outside of your house.
So for all it's, I posted something a few years back that got me a lot of, comments because people were talking about the whole Colin Kaepernick thing and he wasn't standing for the flag and he wasn't doing this. So what people don't understand is when we take the oath of enlistment, we're not pledging allegiance to the flag. We are taking an oath to uphold the Constitution, right? First and foremost. The flag, of course, represents our country. That's, the Star Spangled Banner. It's representing the country. But the oath that you take is to the Constitution and to uphold that. So nobody's disrespecting soldiers when they don't put their hand over their heart, because we fight for your freedoms to not be able to do that because you do have freedom of religion. The flag code says that you should stand if you can, but you don't have to stand. It's not, you don't have to put your hand over your heart or anything like that. The US flag code also says that the flag should never be carried horizontal, but what do they do at every football game? When the band comes out, they take it horizontal. The US flag code also says that the flag should not be represented as dinnerware, as clothing. It should not be represented on clothing because that's basically disrespectful to the flag. So all these
Get
patriots
out of
that
here.
walk
That's
around,
denigration of the flag.
hell yeah.
Get out of here.
Anybody who wants to research it, the US flag code, you should not be wearing the image of the Star Spangled Banner on clothing. It should not be imprinted on napkins, on plates, or anything like that. So when people go out and they buy all this stuff to be patriotic and they hang it wherever they want, it's disrespectful to the flag. And that's just, if you want to be a real patriot, don't wear a t-shirt with the flag on it. What other country do you really see them? Like, do you see people in Germany running around with a German flag on everything? We're the only country who loves to put that flag on every single thing, but know nothing about the flag code and what it says. True respect for that Star Spangled Banner should be.
Wow.
Yeah. So if anybody in the audience, they can go check it. Check the US flag code and see what it says. Because I did a whole post. I screenshotted because people were being ignorant. I was like, let me put you on game since you want to talk stuff.
Now, so if that isn't now, I appreciate this information right here. Matter of fact, this is really good information. So what about the song Star Spangled Banner? Because the video itself, I reacted to the video. Now I do know that people are saying there's an extra verse. You need to check out the extra verse. So I need to check out the extra verse. That's very
it's
rare,
not
very
very
difficult to
nice.
find. Huh?
Yeah, it's not very nice to us. The second verse is talking about us and then not in a very nice way.
The third verse.
The third.
The third verse.
Yeah.
And
The second portion, we only sing the first portion with those different stanzas. It's the second portion
right.
that's not sang that is in there that talks about the Negro.
Okay. So they get into the times of that time and they start talking about the
Francis Scott Key. Yeah, he didn't write that for us.
Okay. Now the flag itself, though, is I do believe that they were fighting. I mean, well, while they were fighting and a whole lot of people died, the flag was still standing.
And yes, it was in Baltimore. Actually, the harbor, the Star Fort that's there. They were throwing bombs left and right. Go to Fort McHenry. There's a whole lot of history to be told there. But it was around that area that they were fighting. And when they woke up in the morning, they saw that Old Glory, whatever the flag is called, was still flying. It tattered as though she was, but it was still flying. And that's how he was inspired to write that. Because the rocket's red glare was all the bombs going back and forth. Those cannons over Fort McHenry, huge. If you get a chance to go look, that Star Fort, it was so strategic. And that's why they couldn't beat that harbor.
You're
because
such a damn patriot. Check you out.
I'm a nerd when it comes to stuff like that, but go to Fort McHenry. It's amazing to look across the border and look across the bay right there in Baltimore Harbor and see like just imagine seeing all those warships coming in. It's like, dang, this is the last standing fort. We got to take care of this and make sure they don't come in, because if they had beat that fort, they would have been able to come on land and basically get in, but they were able to fight off the British warships coming in at harbor. And after all those bombs were flying at nighttime, in the morning, he saw the flag still standing, and, he wrote the song. But then he decided to put in stuff about us.
Okay, remix. Oh, I ain't forget about y'all. This next one's for you. It's special.
No, this next one ain't for you. Yeah, he did not write nice things about us, and I understand that's why.
What's his name?
Francis Scott Key.
Oh, Francis Scott Key. Get out of here. I knew that.
You know what's named after him, right?
Yeah, I know that.
The Key Bridge.
Get out of here.
Y'all want to fact check me on that? Yeah.
Wow.
Who wrote the Star Spangled Banner?
Well, I just want to say to you, first of all, I appreciate you sitting down and talking to me. This is not going to be the last time, because you said a lot of things that the Star Spangled Banner. Who wrote this? Oh, Francis Scott Key. She in there doing her daggone Googles. Look, I'm not lying.
I just want y'all to make sure y'all know he wrote it. Yeah.
How can people find you on the internet?
So on Instagram, my tag is Trini, Trini, Gyal, Gyal, because you got to say it like the Trini way, not Jamaican, Van. So it's Trini Gyal _42. And that's how you can find me on Instagram.
Now, now you have a bunch of businesses. You do a bunch of different things.
So I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse since 1998. And I'm also a realtor in Maryland. And I'm also a life insurance producer in Maryland. So if you want to buy or sell a home.
And you also do CMOS.
I do. I make CMOS gel. That's why I look so young.
See, you just running through your skills, and I'm trying to get these people to know how to come to you.
I'm sorry. I make CMOS gel as well. But see, it's not on a big scale yet. I haven't gotten to that level yet. I'm partnering with Andrew, so we're going to do something big together and release something soon.
That's what's up. Yeah. All right. So before we go, I want to ask you one question. If you can say one thing to the country that you think will make it better, what would it be?
I'm going to give one to humanity as a whole. Okay. So no matter what background you come from, no one's been on the other side and come back really with a good account of what it's like. I saw the light and I saw people and all that stuff. Make sure that you do good in this life to create good karma, right? So it doesn't fall to your kids, doesn't fall to the next generation. I believe in reincarnation. I know everybody doesn't believe in that. But I would say that because we don't know, huh?
I say, okay, Erykah Badu, we'll be butterflies.
I guess I'll see you next time. Oh, sorry. You had me for a moment there. I had a little.
Yeah, Erykah Badu, reincarnation.
I'm
sorry for interrupting.
No, I just want people to know that the things that you do in this lifetime carry on. So treat people with kindness, treat people with love, and take the time, like I put on my Instagram post, to do your own research about things that's in the world going on in social media and the news. Don't get so caught up that you lose yourself in the headlines. Go do your own research, pause, step away, and go do your own research, and then form your own opinion. But
like that.
Treat people with kindness. There's just too much meanness going on. It really is.
It really is.
And it's unnecessary. It's like, why are you so mean?
It really is.
Thankful that you're alive and the sun didn't burn us yet.
Global warming.
It was 77 degrees the other day.
It was so damn hot. I'm like, whoa. Are we sure? Because time just now went back or something too.
Here's another thing, real quick. So at 6:00 last week, right before daylight savings time, wasn't it light outside?
Was it?
Think about it.
Okay. Whoa. You said the day before yesterday.
Last week,
last week.
It was 6 p.m. Wasn't the sun still out?
It was still out until for another hour and a half. It was
Yeah.
still out for like another hour and a half.
All of a sudden, they do daylight savings time.
And it get dark
Or
just
50
like that.
something, it's getting dark, but that's technically 5 o'clock. Why is it getting dark already?
Racism.
Right. That's right. I believe it. There's some Caucasian foolery going foot.
Why do we always see? Okay.
Y'all, I'm just messing with y'all.